Just open up completely, fully, all the same. Not grasping, both grasping and not grasping. Release the release, relax the relax, all the same. Not about being still, being indifferent. Go on in a way and not grasping, both grasping and not grasping. If it is opened, a lotus, the bloom, let go of that blooming, don't stay with the blooming. The essence of enlightenment isn't about watching over or staying with anything. It's open out. A lotus has to bloom out and let go of that blooming. That is when it is fruitful for the samsara, beneficial for the samsara. Keep opening. Open in a way that not grasping, both grasping and not grasping. With everything, in a way of not attached, both attached and not attached. All the same, everything is the same, no differentiation. Open in a way that cut, both cut and not cut, without differentiation, everything. It's the essence of enlightenment, it's not much. If it is a lot, if it is much, it will be a delusion. It's not the essence of enlightenment. Only a little bit, it's not about attached, even that little bit. If it is a lot, it isn't the essence of enlightenment anymore. It is a delusive attachment, delusive knowledge instead. It is not like what you believed, that there is a lot, a complication about the essence of enlightenment. Something that is not, even the is not itself. It is shorter than short. It cut even the shortness itself. The essence of enlightenment isn't much, because there isn't even, there isn't itself. Open in a way of not grasping, both grasping and not grasping. Don't try to compose your body, mind, everything is anicca. Don't have to compose it, don't have to contain it. What is the point? You are attached when you try to contain. It's the habit of cultivation, body, mind, delusive attachment. Bloom out of the blooming. Blooming, let go of the blooming itself. All your senses open, be alert, fully alert, in a way of not grasping, both grasping and not grasping. Bloom out of the blooming, not holding on to the blooming, not attached, both attached and not attached, that is. Don't be deluded in trying to do anything to your mind, your body, trying to make it this way or that way. Direct essence of enlightenment, enlighten directly. Cut, both cut and not cut together. That is a direct essence. To cut, don't have to try to make your mind, your body anyway. That is all about difficulty, all about karma. It has nothing to do with nibbana or enlightenment. Just cut. Cut means not grasping, both grasping and not grasping. Mind means mind, both mind and not mind. Everything. All, everything in balance. Let all and everything balance. Recite the reminders constantly. whatever direction, not grasping, both grasping and not grasping, all the same. Don't look at anything or know of anything and sustain and stay in that. It's like you knowing is fixated on that point already if you focus and not recall, not grasping, both grasping and not grasping. So whatever you look at with your eyes, do it in a way of not grasping, both grasping and not grasping. With your knowing, your seeing, that is when you release the release. Release the release for everything that you see, you look. If you focus and you fixate on that, you fixing, you freezing that point. It doesn't help it. To help is to recall, not grasping, both grasping and not grasping. When you look, you see, or you know of anything. Cut, both cut and not cut. Might, both might and not might, together with seeing, knowing. It isn't about concentrating anything or freezing anything. It's not about making a charming, not trying to charm anything. The enlightenment isn't anything about concentrating or sustaining anything, not about fixing. When you fix suffering, you sustain suffering. Only enlighten for one another, release, relax for one another. So everything shined out, all together, together with everything, not grasping, both grasping and not grasping. Whatever you look, what direction, cut, both cut and not cut, not grasping, both grasping and not grasping, all the same. That is how you blessed with your eyes. Whatever you know, whatever you are aware, cut, both cut and not cut. So everything balanced. Cut, both cut and not cut. Might, both might and not might, all together, all at once, throughout. When everything is from not grasping, both grasping and not grasping, all together, it won't be a samsara, it won't be a cycle by itself. When everything is from not grasping, both grasping and not grasping, all the same, it won't be a samsara, it won't be a cycle. Only about cleansing without a trace for one another. It will happen automatically. You just have to be diligent in recalling the sentences, not grasping, both grasping and not grasping constantly. That is self-dissolved thoughts, great compassion thoughts. Whatever you think, it usually is a realm of existence because you think and you grasp on it. Because it's not a thought that you let go of that thought. When you think of something and you grasp on that, you want to take something out of it, it becomes a realm of existence. But great compassion thought is not grasping even the non-grasping itself. It is a self-dissolved thought. It is a thought that let go of itself. So that is a thought that enlightened in itself. Because that thought cut in itself. From not grasping, both grasping and not grasping. It is a thought that clean itself. Have to be together with everything. So the enlightenment is for everything, all together. Have you heard of this? To enlighten all together at once. Cut and cut for everything simultaneously. How can it be simultaneously? It is the word everything that is the basic that make everything can go together, can be enlightened together. It is a great thought, it is a great compassion thought. Because it is everything, that's why it is a great thought. That is the basic, the foundation. It comes from this part. Everything, that when all that everything can happen together, can go together. Everything awaken. That is when all that everything awaken together, all at once. That is how you release for everything. Everything awaken. Awaken in a way that both cut and not cut. Both my and not my. That is how you awaken. And in for everything. It's not like you alert, you excited in a way that you focus one thing or two things at a time. That is excited. If it is an awaken, it is awakened with everything. You cannot grasp on anything. You're not attached to anything. If it is an attachment, it has to be one or two things or a particular thing at a time. But when it is everything, you can't be attached to that. You can't attach to all and everything at once. So everything, it is it. That is dissolved, the dissolving itself, the delusive attachment cannot happen. That is a great thought. Everything, that is a great thought. It is the basis of enlightenment for everything. That is a thought that come out of the thought itself, doesn't stay with the thought. Your everything had to be my, both my and not my, cut both cut and not cut, everything. That is how you cut both cut and not cut. In both in and not in altogether. That is sacred, that is holy. To end existence and all becoming. It is not sacred in a way that you worship or superstitious. Whatever, wherever, you cut both cut and not cut, both my and not my. Whatever it is, wherever it is, not grasping, both grasping and not grasping. That is how you release the release right there, wherever it is. That is how you bless without difficulties. It's not difficult. It just depends on how you dissolve the thought. You're not holding on to the thought, you're not grasp onto the thought. If you keep on dissolving whatever thought you have, that is how you release the release. When you see and you fixate on that seeing, without dissolving, without releasing from that seeing, that is the beginning of a samsara. When you grasp on something, that is the beginning of a samsara. So you cut everything from not grasping, both grasping and not grasping. Everything is from not grasping, the non-grasping itself. When you cut, that is it. The opening that is beyond opening, the opening that let go of opening, that is the end of the samsara, the end of being a samsara. There's plenty of samsara. It's all around, it's everywhere, samsara. But if you want to let go, what do you want to let go of? In order to end all the samsara, what do you have to let go? There's a lot of samsara. When you have to let go of a lot of things. But if you let go of the letting go itself, that is the end of the samsara. When you want to put down the put down itself, that is the end of self, who is trying to let go, who wants to put down. Let go of the letting go itself, put down the putting down itself, from release the release itself. If it is not attached, the non-attachment itself, cut at the beginning. When you're trying to not attach to this, that is a suffering. You are trying, it's like a self-torture. But when you not attach the non-attachment itself, that is the end of self. Who try to attach, not attach, end of being noble and non-noble. It's samsara everywhere. It's plenty of them. When you have to give up, you have to give up a lot. Give up the country, give up your nation, give up your home. When you move from one country to the next, even when you give up your own country, you have to come to the next country. So the end of all has to give up the giving up itself. You don't have to try to give up here, there, bit by bit. That is a kind of suffering, a self-torture when you try to give up this, that, and keep on having to give up things. So give up the giving up itself, and you don't have to be fixated on giving up. That is an ending. Not attached is the same. Not attached, the non-attachment itself, that is the end of not attaching. And you don't have to fixate on not attaching this, that. That is a cut out. That is the main switch. Cut or might is the same. The might itself, cut the cutting itself, everything from cut the cutting itself, from the might itself. That is it. That is the end. Everything will extinguish by itself naturally, without you trying to extinguish anything. When you cut, both cut and not cut, might, both might and not might, that is the extinguish, the dissolve without a trace, automatically throughout. But if you determine, you intend to extinguish, it's not a true extinction. A true extinction, it isn't anything in that extinction. It has no intention. That's why I said might, both might and not might, cut, both cut and not cut, and it won't mean anything in any extinction. Whatever direction, wherever it is, cut, both cut and not cut, might, both might and not might. The power of extinction throughout, every direction, everywhere. Whatever you know, whatever you see, what direction, cut, both cut and not cut, might, both might and not might. No differentiation, no discrimination in extinguishing. Just cut. Cut, might, both might and not might, cut, both cut and not cut. and everything will balance. No differentiations in idea, in concepts, in meaning and opinion. Just cut. Cut, both cut and not cut. All and everything, every particle in the samsara and the world, throughout, all balance. All everything will be without a trace. Balance. Tell the samsara and tell yourself simultaneously with the same thing. Cut. Cut, both cut and not cut. Might, both might and not might. Tell all things and yourself. That is how you enlighten. Every time you say it, every time you recite, it's an enlightenment for you and everything simultaneously. That is it. Just cut. Cut in the way that not grasping, both grasping and not grasping. Don't specify, don't focus. When you focus, you're blocking instead of letting it flow. That is pressure, that is suppression. In a way of not grasping, both grasping and not grasping all the same. When cut, doesn't hold on to the cut. You cut in a way that you're not holding on to the cut. Cut in a way that not grasping, both grasping and not grasping. Cut, both cut and not cut. That is when you're not grasping, both grasping and not grasping. So that you release the release, relax the relax for everything. Bless it all the animals, all the beings. You don't have to talk to them, you don't have to communicate to them. You can bless them. That is how you communicate through enlightenment. Cut. If you communicate, it's about delusive knowing. When you understand that it's delusive knowing. Communicate in a way that you cut. Keep reciting everything, wherever you look, everything. Cut, both cut and not cut. Might, both might and not might. Constantly remind yourself everything. And not grasping, both grasping and not grasping right after. Cut, both cut and not cut. With everything. So make conclusion right after everything. So everything, it's not about drifting without meaning. extinguish right away, right after, together with everything. Don't just recite everything without making conclusion right after, together with everything. Cut, both cut and not cut. Might, both might and not might. But with everything always, not one or two things, not a few things, but everything. One or two things, that's a waste of time, that is very tiring. When you cut all together throughout. You keep on identifying with here, that, this, that is suffering. Cut all the same, everything. Cut, both cut and not cut, might, both might and not might, all the same throughout. So all everything extinguished. Not grasping, both grasping and not grasping, all the same, everything. So it relax for one another. Not relate, both relate and not relate, all the same. Not to emphasize the existing of the samsara of this world. Not relate, both relate and not relate. Don't have to emphasize, worsen the body, mind, knowing, seeing. Cut, both cut and not cut. Not grasping, both grasping and not grasping. The samsara, we only release the released, relax the relaxed. If you support the existence of samsara, that is a long suffering. Not about supporting or encouraging the samsara, only to release and relax for the samsara. On have the duty to support or encourage the samsara, only to end the ending. Relax and release for the samsara, only cut all the same, mind all the same, in both end and not end, throughout. The grass, stone, sand, the air, space in the air, throughout, cut, both cut and not cut, all the same, no differentiation, no separation. Don't have to separate beings, non-beings, things or non-things, all, everything, no meanings, all the same, no meaning, even the no meaning itself, throughout, all, everything the same. There's no meaning of the no meaning throughout, no separation, things or non-things, all, everything balanced. The air, space in the air, something you can see or something you cannot see, all the same. Cut, both cut and not cut, might, both might and not might. That's the power of extinction. Will be full. That is the end. And even the ending itself. End and ending for everything simultaneously. Because of the word everything, that is the great thought. That is link you to everything. You still have great compassion. It isn't about the ending for the ending itself. It is the ending for everything. That is how you can help end for everything. That is the great thought. And in the future, you won't know how to focus, to specify one or two things, but always everything, awaken, brighten, everything. When you cut all, everything at once, everything. When you feel that you're weak, you're losing the energy, so remind yourself, let's cut, both cut and not cut. You remind yourself, and together with everything. Just cut, just might, both might and not might. It will reach all, the trees, grass, stone, sand, soil, everything, and anything, any existence that is in the grass, the trees, on the ground, everywhere. It received the power of extinction already. That is when you bless without them knowing that they are blessed. It's a blessing without a trace. Your mind has to be for everything, together with everything. If your cut means everything, that is a true extinction. If it is only fixated on the cut itself, still focused on the cut itself, that is not great compassion yet. It's still with self. You have to link with everything. It's like a lotus that is blooming. It has to let go of the blooming. It is beyond budding or blooming. It has no limit. If a lotus can let go of the blooming itself, it is everything. It has no limit right there.
นั้นอย่าไปแค่ไหม้
So don't just stay with might or cut. Cut both cut and not cut. Might both might and not might. That is when you're not holding on to the cut, the might, and with everything all the same.
ถ้าไหม้มันแค่ไหม้เนี่ย
But if you still cut and fixate on the cut,
อย่ามันแค่ไหม้
that is still focused, that is still limited. You have to recite the word everything to open out of the focus on self.
สมาธิติดตบะติด
If you are attached to meditation, mindfulness, use the word everything, the great thought,
เรียบร้อยเลยแก้ด้วยมหาดำริ
to release from that attachment. Everything.
เอามันทั้งเอาทั้งไม่เอา
From not grasping, both grasping and not grasping.
ไม่ก็ไม่มันทั้งไม่
When you might both might and not might, cut both cut and not cut. Not grasping both grasping and not grasping.
จะได้หมดในหมดนอก
So there is no more inner outer.
เฉยๆนะทุกอย่างล้วนๆไม่ใช่นะ
No, not just
ทุกอย่าง
recite the word
เอาทั้ง
everything.
เอาทั้งไม่เอาอย่างเงี้ย
It has to be everything, not grasping both grasping and not grasping.
แต่มันยังเปิดแบบเลื่อนลอยอยู่
To recite, to remind yourself of the word everything, it's just an opening without direction. So everything cut, both cut and not cut.
ถ้าไหม้ก็ไหม้มันทั้งไหม้ถ้าไม่ไหม้
When you cut both cut and not cut,
อย่าง
everything.
นี้มันทุกอย่างเป็นการดับล้าง
That is everything of extinction.
ทุกอย่างแบบตัดรู้ช่วย
It is everything in a way that you enlightened for everything.
มองไปตรงไหนมันก็
Whatever direction you look,
ซอฟให้หมดกรรมเวรวิบาก
it softened,
ความดิ้นรน
softened all the difficulties from the karma.
มองไปอย่างนี้มองแบบจบช่วย
When you look in a way that you end,
มองไปตรงไหนก็ไหม้มันทั้งไหม้
whatever direction you look, cut both cut and not cut, might both might and not might. That is it.
ความกระเสือกกระสนความดิ้นรนทางจิต
Any struggle, any difficulties will be
แต่
softened
ละหมู่แต่ละเหล่าที่มันอยู่
of all realms of existence
ของจักขุนั้น
within that direction that you look at.
จักขุแห่งการดับล้าง
That is the looking of extinction, of cleansing.
ถ้ามันติดตัวนิ่งตัวเฉยแล้วก็ดำริที่ทุกอย่างแก้ด้วยมหาดำริ
If you attach to stillness, to indifference, use the word everything.
ก็เหมือนกับกบ
It can open you, release you from that state.
แค่นั้นเราเรียกว่าติดธรรม
You are attaching to Dhamma.
ติดธรรม
You are deludedly attached to Dhamma.
ทุกอย่างเนี่ยมันไม่เอาแม้กระทั่งตัวไม่เอา
Everything, not grasping even the non-grasping itself. Dhamma never hold on to anyone, never grasp on to anyone. Just
สติไม่เคย
other
ติด
people
แต่มี
that attach
ยึดสติ
to Dhamma.
เข้ามายึดว่าหลง
The mindfulness doesn't hold on to anyone, doesn't attach to anyone,
เสี่ยงตัณหา
but only others
ไม่ตัดสรู้
that hold on to meditation, to mindfulness.
ทุกอย่างมันจากมายึด
Without enlightenment, everything not attached even to the
จาก
non-attachment
ไม่ยึด
itself.
แม้กระทั่งตัวไม่ยึด
It is from not attached even the non-attachment itself.
รู้ช่วยกันตรง
Enlightened for one another directly, not to go directly toward anything.
ๆต้องการตัดตัวตัด
Direct to cut the cutting itself, the stop of the stopping itself. Be true, be direct, to not attach to the non-attachment itself. That is the direct enlightenment. Be true to the enlightenment. It's not about going forward toward anything.
ต้องต่อมายึดตัวไม่ยึดเอง
True to the not attached to the non-attachment itself.
ต่อไปมันจะไม่เป็นภาระทางวิถีทางปัญญา
And later on,
เราจะได้ฟัง
you won't
ในสิ่งที่มัน
find it a burden in your thought, your idea,
เดียวจบตอน
only to listen to something that ends in itself in one sentence, in one thought. That won't be a burden
ฟังแล้วมันจะได้หมดภาระ
in your thought, in your idea, in your opinion and meaning.
ทางทิฏฐิปัญญามันไม่เคยเอาใคร
The wisdom never hold on to anyone, never grasp on to anyone. Only people that try to grasp on to wisdom, trying to have wisdom. That is the cause of suffering. Everything mindfulness, meditation, mind power is only for use temporarily. It's not about holding on. Those never tried to hold on to anyone. If you try to hold on to them, it is suffering. You are trying to grasp onto something that ungraspable. Anicca, anatta, never hold on to anyone. Never try to grasp onto anything. It is something that not grasping, even the non-grasping itself. Once you need to use your mind, it comes naturally and it goes. It's not to hold on, not to attach the mind. The mind never hold on to anything, anyone. It isn't even itself. It is anicca, it is anatta. The desire created temporarily for the use. You think that the mind is yours. The mind itself, it isn't itself. It doesn't belong to itself. It's just something we assume up, something that is assumed up by desire. You think that the mind is yours. Your mind is yours. It is what you think. The desire make you think. It is enlightened already. Everything is anatta. Even not attached, it doesn't exist. That's why I said not attached, both attached and not attached. You're not attached, both attached and not attached. And there will be nothing left. Either attached or not attached. Attached, not attached. That is the creation of desire. Nibbana doesn't have either attached, not attached. Attached, not attached. That is still a cycle of an obsession, a fixation, of being noble, non-noble, attached, not attached. Nibbana isn't noble, not noble. It isn't anything. Nibbana isn't either being or not being. Being or not being, that's just fantasy, that's just imagination of desire. Nibbana isn't anything. It isn't either is or is not. We're having trouble. It is become toxic because we have grasping, overlaying meditation, mindfulness, overlaying Dhamma, interfering with Dhamma because of desire. That's why we haven't enlightened. Only know and know. It's all about knowing of this, that, but not enlightened. Everything keep opening, everything. To follow the lead of all Mahabaramis means great compassion. Great compassion comes from the word everything. That's the great thought. And it will come to great compassion from the word everything, the great thought.
ช่วยหลุดช่วย
It will come to great compassion of cut the cutting, extinguish and extinguish for everything.
ไม่เหมือนกัน
All the same. My, everything.
ไม่มันทั้งไม่ทั้งไม่เหมือนกัน
My, both my and not my, everything.
องค์พุทธะดำรัสตัดประโยคเดียวท่านก็ไม่ได้เอา
Even one saying, one sentence from the Buddha,
ไอ้จบตามเนี่ยมัน
he doesn't mean for us to take that sentence, to grasp on that sentence, only to end right there,
ฟังแล้วไปในสิ่ง
in that sentence,
ในประโยค
from whatever we hear.
เขาก็เลยจบตามเขาก็เลยตัด
That's why whoever
พวกไหน
listened
ที่ฟังแล้วเอามันไม่จบ
to the
ตาม
Buddha
แต่มันติด
end right there.
เอาของท่านมาติดมันจะมีอยู่สองประเภท
But the one who doesn't end right there grasp onto the words and become attached.